Hey everyone, welcome back to Saturday Shout Out Thrive Tribe interviews. Today, and I know I say this every week that it's very special and all that, but today it really is a very special occasion because the person that I am going to interview right now, this is actually the first time we've actually had a conversation face to face. We've chatted on Facebook, but this is the first time I'm meeting her and really getting into a deep dive. So you and I, audience, will be getting to know her at the same time. And I really hope that that encourages a lot of you in the Thrive Tribe who maybe feel like, okay, well, she knew all those other people. Those are her friends. I want to know everybody in the Thrive Tribe, all 2,350 or however many there is of you. So let me interview you. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Miss Latasha to the show. Welcome.
Hi.
This woman is amazing. She's got a lot going on. She has, well, I'm just going to let that come out, but let's have her, can you just tell us a little bit about you personally before I get too excited about all your professional things you have going on?
Yes, I'm a mom. I have 3 daughters. One of them's 18, the other one's 15, and the last one's 9. So
Wow.
that's what I'm busy most doing now.
I was going to say, that's busy in itself.
Yeah.
And
But
go ahead.
I'm also a teacher, a full-time teacher, and I love being a teacher. I love it, love it, love it. But I wasn't going to be a teacher. All through school, I was trained to be a lawyer, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. From the time I was 3, my mom was like, "You're going to be a lawyer. You're so good. You can read. You talk well. You're so inquisitive." So I literally thought I was going to be a lawyer until I went to law school.
And then what happened?
And then I hated it. Hated it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was super competitive, really lonely, and just not what I thought it was going to be.
That's interesting.
So,
I have a friend of mine who, out of high school, went to USC law school and went through it all, graduated, hated it, and became a mailman because
wow.
that was like more enjoyable. Like he could be outside and, but I wonder, we had never had really deep conversations about it, but I wonder if it was that same kind of thing, just competitive and lonely and, you want to know how you want to feel.
Yeah, to give you an example of what we would do, we would go to class, take notes for hours, and then we would form these study groups. And we would say, okay, I'm going to meet you guys at 3 p.m. at the library. And then we would sit there and we would talk about all the cases that were discussed during class and, talk about answers that the professor wanted to hear, what was going to be on the test. And then it would kind of start to come out that there were people that had already been in the program like for 3 years already. And it was like, why are you in here studying with me? And then there were people that would show up 2 hours before the study group so they could have a leg up and know more information than everybody else. And after a couple months of this, I was just like, oh, wow, is it that competitive? And it really is. It's that competitive. Like everybody wants to know more than you. Everybody wants to like shine in front of the professor. And that's pretty much what it was all about. And then we had mentors that would come in who were practicing lawyers and they would explain what the job was like and talk about the pay and, all these different things. And then at the end of 5 months, I only spent 5 months there. At the end of the 5 months, I was like, this is not for me.
I suddenly got a visual while you were talking of like the How to Get Away with Murder law students and they're competitive and how they were always trying to shine for Annalise. And okay.
That's exactly how it is.
There's no murder, but yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. So you decided law school wasn't for you. And did you go into teaching then?
So yes, I dropped right out and I was actually dating my current husband. We were dating in college and he was the one that was like, you would probably like teaching. And I was like, no, teachers don't make enough. There's no way I'm going to deal with those bad kids. All the yada, yada, yada. And so we went to Knott's Berry Farm one summer together, just the 2 of us. And we're dating, so we're just kind of all giddy about each other. And we walk into Independence Hall. You know how they have Independence Hall there before you go into the entrance?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're in there, and it's this whole replica of Philadelphia, 1700s. And I go in, and I don't know what's going on in my head, but I'm so fascinated by everything that's in there. Like, I'm picking up all the artifacts. I'm asking all these questions. And the lady that works behind the counter in the gift shop goes, "Are you a teacher?" And I said, "No, I'm not a teacher. I'm just really interested in this stuff." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I go, "No, I'm just, I'm a history major, I'm just kind of whatever." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So after that day, it was like, oh, maybe there's something there. Then I went to law school, and then I said, that ain't for me. So I enrolled in teacher college, stayed there for 2 years at Cal State San Bernardino, loved it, loved it, loved it. And the one thing that made me know that it was for me is the fact that I got a fellowship. And so everything was paid for.
Wow.
So it was like, it was like, you know what? This is what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Don't make excuses. Don't try to go do something else. Because I had all these excuses like, well, my undergrad was so expensive. I need to hurry up and get a job, just a random job. And then I applied for the fellowship. There were only maybe 100 people in the state of California that got it. I got it, and I was like, okay, this is a sign. I have to do this.
That's awesome. And what was your first year of teaching? What grade? What did you do?
Oh, okay. So I had 8th grade social studies.
Oh, I taught 8th grade social studies.
Yeah, 8th grade social studies. So I had an awesome master teacher here in Moreno Valley, and I loved it. I loved it. Like, just immediately, I knew it was for me. I was just like, okay, I want to do everything. I want to be a club advisor. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I just immediately jumped in. I mean, from student teaching on, I got a job at the same school that I did my student teaching. Just because I connected with the community, I connected with the kids right away. And it was like, it was natural.
Nice. I love it. So now you do online teaching for independent study students. So my question for you is, what is the biggest, obviously the biggest difference is that you're not in person, but what is the biggest benefit that you think there is for you and the student, and what is kind of the challenge?
Okay, so I've been doing this for 2 years. This is literally my 2nd year. So I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn with just technology in general. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that excites me is the fact that I don't know everything, and I let the kids help me. And I'm always asking questions about the program, like, okay, did this work for you guys? Did you have a technical problem today? There's always something coming up, and we problem solve together and we troubleshoot together. So that's really exciting. But one of the things that makes me really sad is that there's a lot of cheating, like literally going on Google and finding answers, plagiarizing, copying from other people that have already completed things. And it's like, oh, you know what, you guys, I really just kind of have to have a little town hall meeting and say, you know what, let's just talk about this right now. I know what's going on. I read your responses because I teach English. So I know how you guys talk, and I know what the book sounds like because I read it. So it's like, they think they're getting away with it, but they're not. And when you call them out on it, they don't even argue with you. They're like, yeah, I was a little stressed. I kind of just wanted to get it done. That's another challenge. They want to get it done so fast that they miss out on the learning. So I have to explain the difference between getting it done and actually absorbing the material. There's a big difference.
You know what? It's interesting because I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday about just how in the future, even now, it's not even in the future, we won't have to know knowledge. I mean, it's all on Google. We can look it up, right? So kids don't need to know as much knowledge. What they need to know is what to do with that knowledge, right?
Yes.
And so I think of two things, maybe like we need in education to stress more that it's not about the product. It's not about the end, finding the knowledge, but it's about the journey. And so if kids feel like they always want to be right too, like, did I get it right? Did I get it right? Is this what you want? Rather than
Yes.
this is what I got out of it. And so
Yes.
creating a space for them to be really creative and say, yeah, go ahead and look it up on Google, but I don't want to see Google words. I want just, what is
Yes.
your reaction? And I think our kids are just wanting to produce what we want from them rather than think.
Yes.
That's a whole shift in education in general. Like,
Yes.
we need to move to, I think, but we're on our way. We're working towards it, right?
Yes. We're getting a lot better. We really are. We're doing better.
I hope so. Lawyer, law school for, 5 months, teaching in the classroom, teaching online, and you have a website where you offer a class as well. And
yes.
You've written 2 books, right?
Yes.
Self-published 2 books.
Yes.
So, which came first, the books or the online class?
Actually, the books.
Okay, tell us about the books first then.
Okay.
Book. That's your kind of personal story, right?
Yes, the first book is very personal. It actually, I wrote it in 2016 when I was thinking of leaving teaching because I was very frustrated, very stressed out. Just the normal things that you can't control were just really getting to me, and my health was suffering. So I ended up having 2 surgeries in one summer. And I really took that time just to read because I couldn't do anything else except lay around and read and heal. So I took some of the things that I had written over the years, because I've always believed in keeping a journal or a diary, whatever you want to call it, but I've always written down my feelings and my thoughts because I've always wanted to just remember. So I took all that juicy stuff, like even from my childhood, and I put it together into a book. And I said, you know what? I'm going to publish this. Even if nobody reads it, I don't care. It's going to help me get through whatever this funk is that I'm going through, because I was literally depressed and I didn't want to teach anymore. I had given up on myself and given up on my career. And I was just very, very frustrated, very angry, and just I felt hopeless. So I thought, you know what is it that's bugging me? And I figured it out. I put it all together, wrote the book, published it last August.
Wow.
And a couple of my coworkers bought it and they messaged me and they said, I bought your book. And they were really surprised at some of the stuff I put in there. I mean, I talked about abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse. I talked about having an abortion. At 16, nobody knows that. Even my best friend of 30 years didn't know that. So I just kind of spilled everything and I felt so much better. And, the first 2 people that bought it, one of the ladies was like, you know what? I had just got out of the hospital dealing with some mental issues. And I bought your book the next day. She said, and it helped me heal. I read it that day. And I was like, wow, okay. I was like, oh, God.
I 2 things pop into my head. These are my aha bubbles. Like if I had little bubbles above my head of what I'm thinking about. So when you say that, and I saw your smile as, that you just felt so good. It's almost like you were able to just step into your true authenticity. Like you could shed all the clothes of, perfection, or this is who you think I am, and this is who I just really am. Here it is.
Yes.
That's freeing for you. My hairs are standing up right now, just so you know. I don't know why. And freeing for anybody who witnesses that, because I think what you do in sharing your story, and that's what kind of I hope to do in these Thrive Tribe interviews, is by sharing your story, it's almost like you give permission to other people to do the same. To just have the courage to step in, even a little bit of their story at a time, but to share. And I think, it's only when we are in our true authentic selves do we really feel at peace, So.
Yeah, you hit it. You hit it right on the head, because I was just feeling so low. I was like, what's going to help me get through this? what is my go-to? It's always been writing. It's always been get it all out, but it was never to tell anybody though, because I would always write stuff and then hide it or tear it up.
Well, and did that writing process lead you to that aha that brought you out of the funk? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So then I guess one book wasn't enough for you. So you were like, I'm going to write another book. And so
Yes.
you have a second book.
Yes. Okay. So this second book, it's a conversation between me and my daughter, who's 18. And she has taught me a lot. She's taught me about being a woman and being authentic and keeping it real. And because a lot of the things that I covered up, you know, because you want to cover certain things up for your daughter,
Right.
things just came out and things were so obvious. I mean, like when it comes to dating and sex and stuff like that, she would ask questions and you know, I was just kind of like, oh, sugarcoat. The second book is like all the lies that I told her. Mm-hmm. It's literally called Sorry Boo, Mommy Lied. It's like all the stuff, starting with like Santa Claus, little things. Just like, I thought about like, why am I lying? And she would even confront me because she's like a little boss lady. I trained her to be that way. And she's literally like, she calls me out on everything. And she's like, Mom, really? Seriously? Yeah, she's, but I love her because she's so honest and she's so like, she keeps me real. She's like, no, Mom, seriously? Really? So it's kind of like a collaborative work between me and my 18-year-old, like all the stuff that I told her that wasn't true, that now I'm having to come out of the closet and say, all right, here's the reason why I told you that.
Oh,
here's what I was trying to protect you from.
I want to read that. It sounds very entertaining too. Like it would make
good.
Nice.
It was approved. It was approved by her and it was edited by her. So it has a little 18-year-old approval on it.
Nice. I like it. I'm gonna have to check that out. So that's not all. So it's not just, you know, former law student, in the classroom teacher, online teacher, book 1, book 2, and you have another business that involves nutrition and fitness. And what is that?
Yes. Okay. So my husband's a fitness trainer. He's been a fitness trainer for 4 years. And we just started out wanting to lose weight after we had kids because we were both fat. So I actually started it first. I lost 40 pounds in a year in 2011. And then he's like, oh, okay, so I guess I better do something now too. So he starts working out. But he's super competitive, so he took it to the next level and actually created a business around it. So in my spare time, I help him with his boot camps, and I help him teach nutrition classes and basically coach people on how to lose weight and be healthy.
Wow. So I guess the most obvious question after all that is, how do you balance? And I mean, let me just be clear. I kind of think work-life balance is a myth.
Yep.
I don't believe in work-life balance. But I'll tell you that when the work you do is something that you love, then it's not work. You know,
yep.
I mean, that's the balance.
Yep.
But tell us how you juggle all of those responsibilities and things.
Yeah.
Kids, I forgot.
Yeah. Because work is life. Like, it's hard to have a balance when it is your life. Literally, like my 18-year-old tells me, Mom, can you just turn off being a teacher for a second? Can you just talk to me as mom? And I'm like, no, I really can't.
There's no separation.
It's hard. But you know what I do? I have boundaries with people and I have boundaries with work. So it's not really balanced. It's just like, you know what? This is what I need right now. Like literally, I'm doing this interview with you right now. My husband's in the other room doing whatever he's doing on his computer. My kids are at school. One of them's in the after school program. But everybody has something that they're supposed to be doing at every moment. And they know mommy's doing an interview or mommy's doing a YouTube video or tonight I'm going to the library to do an author event. So everybody in my house knows when mommy's doing this, I need to be doing that. And so nobody's trying to interrupt because I've already explained to them ahead of time, this is what's going to happen today. And everybody understands, oh, okay, well, as long as, I tell them ahead of time, they don't have an expectation of, well, Mom, can you do this for me? Because they already know Mommy has this scheduled. We have a calendar on the refrigerator and people laugh at it because when they come into my house, they see that there's like an event and then there's an event written on top of the event. And then there's an event that's scratched out because we're constantly like changing things. And my family just knows that. We just roll with it. We've been doing this for years.
Nice.
So it's like they help me. They help keep me balanced too. Because my middle daughter will say, Mom, I have a wrestling thing that weekend. And I'll say, well, when did you put it on the calendar? Did you put it on the calendar before I scheduled this or after? And she'll say, well, Mom, it's just, I have to do this. And we'll go back and forth and talk about priorities and they understand, and I bend, there's some things that I just have to cancel because it's my daughter. And there's some things that she just has to know that Mommy's not going to be there because Mommy has dreams too.
So, and I think that's important because a lot of women, I think sometimes, and men probably, just like let go of their own, they lose themselves.
Yeah.
And their kids. You said something else that triggered a thought, and that was, when we were joking about there is no work-life balance, but what there is being where your feet are. So that's what I heard you say. So basically, when you're doing this interview, this is where you are. When you're with kids, this is where you are. When you're at the book signing, that's where you are. And I think, that's huge. I know that's what it is for me. Today for me was a research day. So I didn't do other kinds of work. I did research and I did it for, 5 hours.
Yes.
Tomorrow will be a different day. Tomorrow's actually a creation day. I got to produce something. So, but I do it in chunks like that, right? So that it's kind of in flow. All right. Let me ask you some interesting self-reflective questions. Reflecting on today, and regardless, Thrive Tribe, if you're watching this Saturday morning, we figured it out that we take these ahead of time.
Today.
Thinking on today, what are you most grateful for specifically today? So rather than a general, family or my job, or, what specific thing today impacted you in a positive way?
Today, I think I'm happy that I have a relationship with God. I think I'm happy that I'm actually really happy within myself, and I don't need anything except for that relationship with God. And I think it's taken me a long time to actually really, really, really have that relationship. Because, we say, oh, we're going to take a 10-minute devotional, we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. But literally, when I'm in my moment in myself, I ask God, what do you want me to do today? I try to get off of my own agenda because I'm so used to lesson planning and I'm so used to being very meticulous about details. And I think now I'm 42 and I just get up and I just look around and say, I wonder what's going to happen today. Like literally, I'm like, for this interview, I was like, I wonder what's going to happen during the interview. Should I prepare? Should I memorize stuff? No, just be. You've already practiced.
There you go. It's interesting because it takes a lot. I think that comes with getting older. I'm a little bit older than you, just a smidge. But I like that freedom that comes with not having to know, because I tend to be an over planner. And through the last 5-10 years, I've gradually let go of that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. This is just whatever pops into your head. So I'm going to say this question and just boom, whatever comes out.
Okay.
Deep in your bones, what do you know to be true?
In my bones.
Deep in your bones, what do you know to be true?
I know I'm a sexy woman. That just came out.
I told you to just go. You know what? And sexy is really all about confidence and just.
Yes.
So you obviously got that. You're bringing sexy back. I'm gonna put that clip in the Justin Timberlake. Okay. What is something new that you want to learn in the next year that you don't really know about now? What is it?
Spanish.
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 Nice.
I want to be fluent in Spanish.
Wow. Do you have a plan already of how
I know the book Spanish, but the conversational Spanish, I need to get better. So I've already been talking to my Spanish friends and learning one new word every day. So today is descanso. I think I'm saying that right. That means I need to take a rest.
Oh, I need to write that one down. You'll have to put that in the comments. I know.
Descanso. Yeah. Because we were doing a 8 a.m. boot camp this morning, and I was like, I need to take a rest. And so I asked, how do you say that in Spanish? And one of the girls told me, and I said, okay, descanso. Okay, that's my one word for today.
I heard advertised, I can't think of it right now, but it's some kind of program to learn languages, and it totally immerses. So like, I think you actually get like news, daily news, but in whatever language you're trying to learn. So that
I need that.
Get in the habit of like conversational and that kind of stuff.
I need that.
Okay, another question. Other than time or money, what do you want more of?
Ooh, I want more of peak life experiences. Like when you go to the pyramids, I've never been to the pyramids, but when you go see things like that and you're in awe, I want more of the, wow, I want that.
That's a great answer. I love that. Yeah, that's my answer too. What of all of the pieces of work that you do in a day, so that might involve a book signing and online or boot camp, got a hair in my mouth, what is the favorite part of your work? What's just like a favorite moment that happens that you love?
This is actually a game I play with myself because I run into so many grumpy people, students, parents, teachers. I play a game to see how long it takes for them to smile back at me.
I like it.
I want, it's my job to get them to smile right now.
I love it. I bet you're pretty successful at it too.
Yeah. Because like if I'm smiling and they're looking at me and they're not smiling, they kind of start feeling like pressure, like, oh, why is she smiling? Like, what is going on? And you don't want to be a buzzkill when somebody's smiling at you, making eye contact. You don't want to be like, but I want people to smile. I want people to be happy. I want to put positive energy out there. So that's my game. I play with myself every day. Like, how fast can you get them to smile? Sometimes, most of the time, I succeed. Sometimes there's some that are just like, ah.
I'm just not there yet. What connections, if any, and would you want to strengthen this year? And so this could be a specific answer, like with a certain person, or it could be a general answer, like strengthen relationships with close friends, or with intimate family, or with extended family, or with strangers, or with people at my work, or whatever. What social connections would you want to strengthen in the next year?
Definitely my bond with my husband. It's already great, but I want it to be better because now I'm moving from partner to business associate. Like I'm helping him with his business. That's a whole nother relationship.
Yeah.
That's harder.
That's a balance.
So I'm working on developing a closer bond to help him in the areas that he needs help. I'm trying to figure out where my strengths will complement him. Because in our marriage with our kids, we already know I'm the bad cop, he's the good cop, but we're both cops. But with the business, I'm still trying to figure out like where the boundary is, because I love to take initiative and I just do things without asking. And sometimes that can kind of cause problems, when it's like you've done something that's not necessary. Right. So that's for this year. I want to get better at that. I want to bond with him more as a business associate or helper in that area.
I love it. That's a great answer.
Mhm.
My last question for you, and this is the question I ask everyone. Again, don't overthink whatever pops into your head today. If you could teach the world one thing, knowing that the world needs so many lessons, way more than we can possibly give them in this show, what is the one thing that you would want them to learn from Latasha?
How to smile no matter what.
There's a lot of science in that. People might think that's frilly, but I just want you to know there's a lot of science around fake it till you make it. And
Yes.
that when you actually change the physical part of your body,
Yes.
it actually changes the mental part. So
Yes.
that is a very valuable lesson. In fact, that I'm going to try and remember and put an article about that just so they know
Yes.
that
Please.
lesson in the comments.
Yes.
I like it a lot. All right, here comes the kind of scary part, but what's one question that you have for me?
Yes, I've been thinking about this all week because honestly, I've been like trying to figure out how to take my whole life to the next level, but specifically my career. And I just decided I want to be like you when I grow up. So my question is, how did you, because my friend told me that I need to be a part of your group because we're like-minded. And I was like, really? She goes, yeah, I made you join the group because we're all like-minded people. And I was like, cool. And so she kind of just told me a little bit about your background, but I want to know more. And I want to know how you launched out on your own and started your own company. Like I admire that. I really aspire to do something like that. So I just kind of want to know what caused you to do that and how did you do it?
So that's a big question. I I've been a life coach for a long time, like since I was a teacher, so 20 years. And I practiced doing some, professional development for the life coaching business throughout when I was a teacher. When I became an administrator, I really didn't have as much time to do that kind of stuff. And so I just used all my life coaching stuff on my students and my staff.
Yeah.
And then, so I had the dream of someday having my own business, I guess, but I have a lot of fear around it. In fact, I used to say the words to people, I never want to have my own business. Even though there was a part of me that did, I would out loud say, I never want to have my own business because I don't want to look for clients. Like that.
Yeah.
I don't like to, pimp myself out looking for clients. I don't know how to budget. I don't know anything about running a business really. I'm really good at what I do and I don't know the other parts. And so even though there was a tiny little glimmer of a dream of doing that, I really had so many obstacles that I put up in front of them. And then in April, just some circumstances happened and I lost my job. And so I'm like, okay, this is not good. And, I'm at an age now where I can either go find a job.
Yeah.
Or I got to launch it. What am I going to do, And so I was like, I don't think I'm going to get a job. So, so that was scary. So I just decided, okay, this opportunity, apparently the universe does not do things on your timing. And so it was like, get the hell out. You gotta do this now. We're not anymore, make this happen. And so I just started. And the very first thing I did was gather an advisory group together to advise me. Because like I said, I don't know anything about running a business. So I have 5 really smart people guiding me, an HR executive, a county superintendent of schools, a businessman who helps businesses who need to be over, are reconstructing financially. Oh, and anyways, amazing people. And so they really helped me at the beginning by saying here's the things you got to do legally, here's the things you got to do, financially, whatever. And so that was in April. I mean, it's only been May, June, July,
Wow.
5 months. So,
wow.
5 months. So I would say in these 5 months, I have had, in true authenticity and transparency, many moments, many hours of fear that still arises.
Yeah.
Is this going to happen? How am I going to pay my bills? Right? Like, because it takes a while to, you know, to build that up. If I had known, I could have maybe been building it up, but that wasn't the opportunity the universe gave me. So, so it's been a journey. And I have to tell you that today in particular was one of those days where I really appreciated it. When I, you know, did set an alarm and I was like, today I'm going to learn stuff. I'm going to stay in my pajamas all day until basically I had to, you know,
Yay!
And then, and I just learned, and it was great. And yesterday I was in, you know, Fresno leading an executive cabinet of a school district in belonging and connection and trust. And I love that. So it's starting to move, you know, and I just have to believe that this is where I'm supposed to be. I know that I feel like I'm living in purpose and on purpose, and hopefully I can just, you know, make enough money to keep doing it.
Yay! That was awesome. That was my only question to you, is just, how did it happen? Because, you know, there's fears. There's a lot of fears, but sometimes we just have to walk through it and just trust that everything.
Jump out of the plane, I guess. Just go. Yeah.
Oh, did you see George Clooney?
I did not see George Clooney. No, for those of you who don't know, on my Facebook post the other day, I decided to wear no makeup to the airport, which I don't think I've ever done in my whole life, except when I was a little kid. And I just didn't feel like putting it on. And I was like, I'm not going to put any on. And I was like, I hope this isn't the day that I sit next to George Clooney on the plane. No, a very nice man, but I don't think he was judging me. He was super into his headphones, and, you know, so he was there.
That was funny.
And such a pleasure getting to talk to you. And your friend, our friend, is right. I think we do have a lot of commonalities, starting, you know, with just being history teachers too. That was, you know, 8th grade history. So thank you so much for being on the show. And I will put links to her amazing, she has a website with, you can see her books, to her YouTube channel, and some other things we talked about. I'll put the links in there. And for the rest of you, let me interview you. We need to know your story. You have a story. Everyone has a story. So thanks for being here. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Peace out.
Thank you. Thank you.